Hey guys, Dave from Nerdarchy, for Nerds by Nerds, and today I'm hanging out with a different group of nerds than I usually hang out with, and we're also not in the lair today. We were spread out across the interwebs, and the other guys had family obligations that they had to uphold and withhold. So I gathered up a new adventuring party, and I've replaced them.
Tavern.
Yeah.
Yeah, in different places, but the same tavern. It's a virtual tavern.
Virtual tavern. One interdimensional tavern.
Yeah, even better.
Oh, I like that. I'm gonna add that to my game.
Love it.
So how is everyone today?
Snowing. So I'm inside, so it's warm. I'm okay right now.
Yeah. Oh, so it's snowing in Cleveland, Doug.
Yep.
Yeah. No snow here. I wish it was.
No, don't say that.
I like the snow, and ever since, I spent a decade doing road construction, and in the off season we would do snow removal. But since I don't do that anymore, I love the snow. I like to sit in my house and watch it come down, go out and play, come back in.
I know you like the cold from our convention visits.
Yeah. Doug has had the misfortune of sharing a couple rooms with me, and I'm notorious for taking over the thermostat, jacking it all the way down.
Oh yeah, all the way.
I'm a big fat guy, so I'm kind of like polar bear. I got that built-in insulation. I just get hot.
Speaking of cons, just a couple months, you got your concoction coming up right here in Cleveland, where me and Ellie are at.
Yes, we will be in the house.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, we have to figure out a couple panels to do. So if anybody got any ideas for panels you want us to see us do, we're looking for suggestions, and then we also have to each come up with a game that we're going to run and give them the synopsis or whatever. I'm horrible about deadlines, though. I need like hard deadlines, or I will procrastinate forever.
And we got to plan the meetup the day before it starts too.
Absolutely,
I think that'll be cool.
Well, and that's the other thing, folks. If you are going to go to the concoction, or you're in the area and you want to come hang out with us, we're going to show up the day ahead of time, and we're going to do some kind of meetup. Doug's been scouting out the area for us.
Yeah, I gave some suggestions too. So
excellent.
There's a lot of great nerd places in Cleveland now. It's crazy.
The more
on the west side,
the better.
But all over in the west side.
But yeah.
The FLGS on my side of town still only has 4th edition stuff on the shelf, which I like 4th edition.
It doesn't. That's does it.
Yeah, for real.
It's time to move over stateside. Nothing goes on over here.
Well, to be honest with you, I have to drive probably like 30 minutes into the city in order to get like gaming stores. I think we have one that's coming back. Like we had a really cool one for a while, and then they opened a second location, and then they closed the first location that was near us. And unfortunately, the second location they opened up on a military base, so it's not like you can just go there if you want.
Really?
Oh, that's nice. Guess what you can't go to?
Yeah. And but then I saw they're coming back into the area, but it looks like they're like I don't know if you have like farmer markets in Cleveland.
Yeah, we have a West Side market, and we've got farmer markets too.
And so they're coming back, but they're going to open up in the farmer markets, and I'm like, they're going to go from like this awesome space to this ghetto space.
Yeah, it's like in a parking lot on Saturdays from 8 to 11 is the only time it's open. Until the tomatoes sell out.
Thursday to Sunday or something like that it opens, or just the weekend or whatever. Yeah. So one of the things I want to do before we get started here is I want to thank the folks over at Paizo, because I had a box on my doorstep the other day, and I'm like, what the hell is this? I mean, it's kind of like one of the cool things about doing Nerdarchy is like these random boxes will show up at my house. So like really cool, fun, festive card.
Yeah.
And then they also sent me a Starfinder book.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice.
You guys, you know what we do with these things when we get them. We put them in the stack of things to give away. So it will find its way to some lucky fan's hands at some point or another. And, obviously you can become a patron for $1 or more, and that will make you eligible for the giveaways, or you can go to the website and we have a form you fill out and mail to us. and then you can enter that way as well. The PO box and everything is over on the website. I believe it's got its own tab, so it should be fairly easy to find. And it may or may not be in the description, depending on whether or not we ran out of room.
Hey, Mike Gould in the chat. Is there I think of Dave in night camo sneaking onto the base, going into the shop.
Well, funny story, right? I from doing road construction, I had to go into the ports, and when you go into the ports, you have to have what they call a TWIC card, and it's like the TSA issues them. So my wife worked on that base for a while. So a couple of times I would sneak on the base and be like, because like you get the guy that's not doing his job. He just takes your card, scans it, and waves you through because it had the chip in it. Although the one time scared the shit out of me because the one guy's like, "What's this?" Actually asked questions, and then they wouldn't let me on.
Oh.
But I did not go to jail, fortunately.
Did you say unfortunately or fortunately?
Fortunately.
Because I wanted the experience.
Yeah.
Man, there's a lot of people.
They didn't lock me up. I was going to jailbreak and everything. It was going to be amazing.
I had this all planned out.
Yeah. I had already keystored a file. I was ready to go.
See, that's when you take LARPing a little too far.
Right. No, I can really do this, I swear.
Cape May Ninja Dave mode activate. Ninja Dave mode activated. But it just makes me think of Chris Farley and Beverly Hills.
Classic. Cinema classic.
Yeah, absolutely. So guys, remember, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them. Just put question in front of it so I can pick it out. It makes it easy to find, which is greatly appreciated. So Drew, you said you just got done running a holiday game.
Yes, yeah. I had a couple of people that were messaging on one of the few local gaming shop Facebook pages saying, "Oh, I don't have anyone to GM. I'm new to D&D." Someone else said, "Oh, I've not played for 20 years. I'm just getting into the new stuff." So I introduced them to each other, and it still took them a little while to get a conversation going. So I stepped in and said, "Look, do you want me to put on a game for you?" And they wanted more people, so I made it an event, and then like 20 people said, "Yes, we want to come." So I had to reach out to someone else, get another DM. So it became like this nice little event thing rather than just the one game. But yeah, it went really well. A lot of people enjoyed themselves, and it was a creepy Christmas game. I put some horror elements in there. It was like a column of arms and legs at one point. But yeah, it was really good fun. I really enjoyed it.
Sounds very jolly and festive.
There was snow. It was Christmas.
Yeah. Ted started running a small mini Christmas session for us last weekend. Like, his family loves to gather for the holidays over and over again. But so it was. So I was there. He was there. Both our sons were there, and then also our nephew. So that was his second time playing. So that was kind of cool. We had I think we had 2 Dragonborn and 2 half orcs.
Was Nerdarchy Jr. playing a Dragonborn?
Nerdarchy Jr. was playing a nope. He was playing,
really? I was gonna say,
he was playing a half orc barbarian. My nephew was playing a half orc bard, and Ted's son, my other nephew, was playing a Dragonborn sorcerer, I think. And we did not convince the bard to thunder wave the other Dragonborn, so it was done by all.
There's been a lot of cool holiday games there. If had a holiday themed Death House, which was a pretty fun video. Like, I definitely wanted to watch the end of that.
So how did he take Death House and make it holiday themed and not Halloween, Christmas?
They were lured in instead of the Rose and Thorn ghosts. I believe it was like Tiny Tim, and they needed to save Christmas instead of save their family from the monster. It's pretty funny. Yeah, I was definitely intrigued. I'm like, okay, I'll go with that. Yeah.
So Mike Gould says he's running a one-shot New Year's Eve. And just I totally slipped my mind. I'm sorry, guys. So we got Ellie from Fantasy Grounds College hanging out with us. We've got Drew Murray writes on the site, and Doug Vahovic is our chief and nerditor. I'm sure you guys all know him. And since I have you in person, Ellie, I just want to say you guys are aggressively helpful.
We are aggressive. Yes, we are aggressively helpful. Actually, talking about the whole holiday and theme stuff, the Fantasy Ground College is running, I 4 events for the holiday one-shot theme. It's called Murder Hobo Christmas. It's being run by Sky, and there's sign-ups on the board on the Discord chat channel, and it's for complete newbies. So it's level 1 characters. It's just kind of all you need is a demo. You don't even need to have a full license for Fantasy Ground College. It'll teach a little bit of combat, a little bit of RP, a little bit of character creation, and just how to play. And you don't have to worry about the whole, because Fantasy Grounds, if you've ever played it, it can be a little intimidating. And this is to mitigate that. So they're doing that starting December. It'd be 5 p.m., but the time zone is UTC -7.
That the whole minus and plus thing confuses me.
That's why I have an actual link that I just use to type in to figure it out very quickly, or I ask my Google Home and she tells me.
Nice. Nah, I usually just have to. I totally messed up the other day. I was supposed to be helping out with this book party, and they had booked me at a time, and I am so used to having to flip the time backwards for people on the West Coast that I automatically did it for myself and ended up showing up 6 hours early.
Wow. At least it was early and not late.
Well, that's true. So, and it turns out I wouldn't have been able to do it at the right time anyway, because I was running a game at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So is there like a code or something over there at Fantasy Grounds College you guys all have to swear into? Is like a blood pact or something? You guys are so tight knit.
There's some stuff you're not allowed to know about yet. You're not at that level. when you get to the acolyte level, I can tell you how it works.
Nice.
No, I mean, you know what? It's Laren, the founder. He's so welcoming, and just like, this is his true passion, is to just train people on Fantasy Grounds, and he just kind of sucks you in like a black hole. It's just like, hey, I want to join. Hey, what kind of skills do you have? What can you help with this? Can you do that? And you're like, sure, you know. So, and it's just, and then you can't get out. So it's kind, you know, it's kind of like yeah.
That's
and he puts you with these pretty bracelets and collar.
But you know, it's the nicest sense. Hey. I think like Scientology per se, but you know, I'm not going to leave the group to find out what would happen to my social security number or anything like that.
And I mean that with a lot of love. You guys are a great bunch over there, and anyone that is looking to get into a virtual tabletop and don't know where to start, like, you guys make it so easy. I literally came over there just to find like a piece of information. I'm like, I just want something to read,
right?
or a video to watch.
Ask for help.
I just wanted a video to watch or something to read. Next thing you know, I'm in a chat with
You're
somebody.
a chat channel, right? That's how they get you. They're like, why don't you join this chat channel? We're very aggressively friendly.
I'm going to like you so much.
I love you. What? Tell me your skills. No, but that's really, like, it's really Laren. He's really got a passion for it, and you know, I'm learning a lot. I really want to start DMing through it too. I've got a lot of social anxiety, so the face-to-face stuff kind of gets me. So I really like the virtual environment and how comfortable I feel with people that I've only known for maybe a month or so, and they feel like family, and like good family, not the family you don't want to show up at your, holiday events.
I feel like 80-90% of all gamers have anxiety though.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's like one of the interesting things about gaming. It's like we all have that, but it's like, but when you come to the table, it's like that all just goes away.
It does, because you're with, you're with a. Well, I mean, it might be a little different with girls, but it really is dependent. So yeah, but the virtual stuff's really, really, really good for me, and I'm good in the social groups, but I kind of have to know the people before I can know the people. It's just not. I don't like to invite outsiders too much.
They have to pass.
They have to, I don't want to invite people to my house. That's like another thing, especially when I was like living in an apartment. And I didn't want to like throw games at my apartments and have people coming there and stuff like that.
See, I've been relatively surprised. For my Facebook event thing, I get to see the demographics, and more women looked at and saw my Christmas event than men. Across all the age ranges as well, especially when you get to like the late 20s to early 40s, just really high percentages. A vast difference. And I think it was about 50-50 that turned up today, but it was held in a public space. And I think that may have had something to do with it.
And what was the space that you used?
It was a local pub. They've got a couple of function rooms, and we just called them up and asked if we could use them, and they said, yeah, completely free. We use a few pubs around the place.
Yeah, that's what I do too, and I'm always like on forums and stuff like, yeah, please just show up. It's like nobody on the east side over here. It's like, where's all the gamers on the east side of Cleveland, man? It's like, I got a space. Side, you don't have to DM.
West side. Yeah. We got a side quest bar. We've got, you know what I mean? Like everyone goes to a side quest bar because you can drink in game. I mean, come on. Now they're offering food.
We have 3 local gaming stores that I'm aware of at all that are large enough to have a presence within a 30-mile radius of my place, and only 2 of them have space for gaming.
And one of them's Camelot, right?
I can hear an address for it. You just know it's around somewhere.
No, Drew, we know
it's a
you.
mystical place.
I keep hearing about people over in America, and they're like, "Oh, just go down to your local gaming store. It's it's a 30-minute, 1-hour drive." And I'm like, "There's nothing around me like that."
We meet at a coffee shop. They have like a meeting room in the back that we reserve.
I like when you can get drinks.
Basement. The lair. So, Duel 810 is a question. Well, more of a challenge, she says. Everyone think quick of a plot hook in Waterdeep. Just would love to see how your minds work.
Ooh.
A plot hook?
Xanathar stole your stuff because he found it interesting. Now you have to infiltrate his stronghold and get it back.
Nope.
But it's secretly just a test because he wants to use you for another job.
A plot hook. I suppose you can always go for the classics. Goblins raid a local farming village. You got to go and get the stuff back. You never know what's down that dungeon, though.
And then put a spin on that. Like, I always like when you put a spin on a classic like that. So then you go and you kind of meet these goblins and you find out that they've got like there's something going on for the reasons why they're raiding. And and you're like, you know what, these guys aren't really that bad. Maybe we should be helping them out. You kind of build off of those old classics because everyone's prepared for that kind of stuff. No, not that I'm saying that that's a terrible storyline, but like, gamers metagame. Let's face it, like they do. They just kind of like put a neat spin on it, or they might not care because they're an evil party and they're like, I don't care, I just put money.
Yeah. But you always get new players. Sorry, Doug.
No, okay. I was saying I'd go with cults. That's my go-to. But I like to subvert things, so I'd probably have somebody come to them looking for help. Like, yeah, there's a cult down in the sewers, and they're harassing city workers. Except that the person that came to you for help's actually just like some real estate investor that wants you to clean.
Oh no, you cut out.
I've lost your mic.
What happened? No more Doug. The cat. I blame the cat. It's always the cat.
Oh no.
Oh no, he's just like, oh, there's 1 minute. Okay, good. I was like, man, right at the plot hook, he got kicked off.
I think it's funny. I'm invading houses now. Apparently, KV. Oh boy, my girlfriend just heard Dave's voice, and she yelled, "That guy again."
It took me a second to work out what still PO'd from last night meant.
Oh yeah.
I occasionally have an innocent mind.
I'm fairly sure I didn't do anything to make her mad.
Oh yeah, I think it's all him.
I'm not taking a rap for this, man. I got my own wife. Mad at me.
Yeah, it was interesting the idea of a cult in the sewers that Doug was saying though, because sewers are notoriously not very good places to be. Like you would think they'd rent a back room in a pub or something to hold the meetings. Somewhere a bit nicer.
Well, you need a secret place. That's what it is.
Yeah, true. But the pubs have beer.
So, well, Fantasy Grounds College has a question. Say Fantasy
I know this person. It better not be a setup. What is this?
No, I just want to know who's using Fantasy Grounds or other virtual tabletops. I use Fantasy Grounds once a week, just as a player, though. I don't have to think very hard.
I have never used Fantasy Grounds. I've signed up for it, but I've never used it. Same with Roll20.
You can play Hobo Christmas Murder. That's a good way to get in there for that murder Hobo Christmas stuff. You can't. That's another great thing about Fantasy Grounds is that you don't have to travel 30 minutes, 40 minutes to game with people. Think about it. Join us.
That is true. I do like the fact that you can just pop on your computer and get in a game, and when you're done, you just turn it off, and you don't even have to wear pants if you don't want to.
Nope, I don't
have I play mostly Theatre of the Mind, either in person or online. So I've signed up for them, and I thought, oh, these are fantastic. But then I never put in the prep beforehand to set up the virtual tabletop. So I've just never found the occasion to use them. But they do look amazing.
Some days coming up.
Yeah, I find it intimidating to run from a tabletop.
It is. That's the whole point of the college is to. I'm just sound like a freaking infomercial, but the whole point of the college is to kind of mitigate that intimidation, And I feel the same way because, and it's like I said, it's an anxiety thing. I want everything to be perfect all the time, and I feel like if I don't know something 100%, then I'm failing myself and I'm failing the group, and it just becomes this whole. This Maslow hierarchy of needs that I just totally fail at. So that's what I like.
So someone has cast silence upon Doug.
Yeah.
Come on, Doug. Do some dispel magic. Oh, you can't because you're in the silence.
I was having a look earlier today. This is related, I assure you. At the Unearthed Arcana for Modern Magic. And I was talking to people about it today, and the cantrip on-off we thought was a very interesting one to include. The fact that if you've got anything with a simple on-off switch, this cantrip just turns it on or turns it off. It would be an interesting thing.
It's the magic version of the clapper.
Yeah, but it's insanely powerful when you consider that things like a lot of mobile phones have a simple lock mechanism. You just push the button. If someone's about to radio for help or something, just switch it off.
Well, my mind instantly goes to how many people could I possibly annoy with this? Just waiting for someone to come in and turn the lights off, and you're off. And when they turn them on, you just turn it off, and you just keep doing that. Or like you said, they go to bed. Oh, you can turn it off, turn their car off. There is definitely a lot of fun to be had there, and we lost Doug, but I think he's going to try and re-enter.
Damn.
Yeah.
We actually played. I think we played 4 sessions with the modern rules.
Okay.
We did our Nerdarchy Saves the World game, and we played as us.
Oh, I caught some of that. That was a while ago.
It ended abruptly because Scott had given out some powerful magic weapons or items, and one of them was a Vorpal weapon. And there was just a series of insane die rolls that got Bart's character to the big bad, and then he crit it with a Vorpal weapon.
Wow.
And I think it was supposed to go on for another 3 sessions or something.
See, that's the mistake. What you do is you then reveal that, oh no, he was just the pawn. The real bad guy is over here.
You've killed my twin brother. What was it, Master Death, where there was the 3 twins?
What was that? Three twins?
Yeah. I forget. It was a Steven Seagal movie back in the 80s, 90s. But yeah, I think it was Marked for Death. I don't know. There was a lot of them. They seemed like they came out every month.
How's this? Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Yay! Turn it off and turn it back on. The IT magic trick to everything.
Yeah. That's where it all begins and ends.
Were you talking about Marked for Death, the Steven Seagal movie?
Yeah. Is that the one with the twins? It is.
The twin Jamaican guys.
Yeah. No, it was triplets.
Were they triplets?
Yeah, I think he did triplets.
Wow.
Or maybe in my mind, I was like, "Now you just do triplets." I don't know.
That's the sequel.
Yeah. I start blurring things together in my head.
Yeah, when you were talking about virtual tabletops, for I was like, I'm just going to have to get into that because adulting has claimed the life of my gaming group. So I'm trying to find the time to get into Fantasy Grounds and work with Laren. He's going to help me.
I think me and you have had that discussion quite a bit recently because you're like always bitching about your group. Like, screw it, man. There's lots of people online. We'll just tap you and plug you right into the Nerdarchy.
Yeah, let's do it, man.
I'm sure there's plenty of people in there that want a game.
Mm-hmm.
Especially
there is. There's people talking all the time, like, "Hey, who wants to play a game in this afternoon or whatever?"
That happens in our. We have a lot of ad hoc games that run in Fantasy Ground College just because whatever.
In the company of the NAG, our secret Facebook group, at least once a day, I feel like I see someone trying to get a game going.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
if only my Nerdarchy duties were less in the afternoon.
Yeah. That's the other thing. You got a weird schedule. No, what you got to do, you just have to play with people from England, and I think that'll work for you.
Or Australia or something, where it's just like
we've got those too.
Yeah.
Buddy Chose is from Australia. He's one of the guys in my campaign. He's pretty cool.
When I played MMOs a lot, that was usually what it was always like people in Australia or near Asia and stuff. So it's like, hey, who's playing at 2 a.m. Eastern?
There's a gentleman from India who's talking to me over Discord and part of some. There's a website called lookingforgm.com where people can post, say, I'm looking for a GM or I'm looking for a group. And this guy was saying, look, I posted, no one answered. Can someone help me get into a group? And he posted his time zone, and it's Greenwich Mean Time plus 5.5 hours. And he'd be able to game from 11 until 6 his time. So that would be like midnight until 7 a.m. for me. But in America, that's still 11 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock at night, on into early hours of the morning. So it is a really awkward time zone for some people. And he's just got no one around him that wants to play. So yeah, I reckon if he gets onto Facebook and goes into a few of the groups, he's sure to find someone.
Or he just joins our Fantasy Ground College group.
I'll plug it to him. You know what? I'll honestly plug it to him.
And it works. I'm aggressively friendly. I can't help it. Part of it's just how I am.
Are we going to cut to the before and after video? Yeah.
So Kenyatta says something about Discord. I think there's 3 Nerdarchy Discords. I don't think I belong to any of them.
Yeah, there is. I think Nigel handles this. I don't know anything about Discord.
I don't either.
It's a whole world.
I went into the Fantasy Ground College Discord for help, and they, I forget who started talking to me. I want to say, I think it's Mars Whip is his screen name on YouTube, but he started helping me, and I'm like, look, the only thing I know about less than Fantasy Grounds is Discord. I felt so old. I felt like such an old man. I'm like, I don't know how any of this works. Where's my pants?
My pants. But you don't need pants. That's the great thing.
That is that. I'm like, oh wait a minute, I'm online. I don't need pants. It's good.
Right.
Is this the sales pitch for Fantasy Grounds?
No
gaming.
Pants.
You don't need pants.
Should be.
Matter of fact, they kick you out if you wear pants.
Yeah.
It's like no shoes, no shirt. No, these are the instructions. No shoes, no shirt.
Yeah, that's part of the requirement. Actually, that's what we embrace.
So we were just past the halfway mark. I guess I'll jump into the chat for roll call, peoples, if you want to start sounding off. And while you're doing that, Nate the Nerdarchy had sent over what he's got in the works for the Patreon rewards next month. So if you're signed up by the 1st, this is what you can look forward to. We got Mage Forge, Winter's Teeth, an ancient spear made of the bone handed down from Xanathar. And Monster Menagerie is Xanathar, a carnivorous horned horse. We have Friend or Foe, a particular Xanathar. I'm seeing a theme here. Like Shadowfax, but carnivorous and much harder to make friends with. Terrible Terrain is a desert oasis. Lost Lore is a spells of winter's cold. What the F, mate? Why is everything horse based and then we have and winter based and then we have a desert? Just when you think you know where this theme is going, Nate's like, no. Think again.
Keep on your toes.
Exactly. We got Bards in the Basement, Niagara Falls. We've got Lynn, Massachusetts, Comrade 2261. Louisiana is in the house with Ghetto Stabulous. Belgrade, Serbia with Duel 810. Lopez Island, Washington with AJ. Friginators in Washington. We got Fresno, California with Richard. Lincoln is in Sweden. We've got Patrick in Toledo, Ohio. One of your peoples, man.
Oh, they're far away from me.
Ohio, it's pretty close globally.
Yeah, Ohio. Everything's like within 10 minutes, right?
Yeah. KB is in Missouri. We got some more Ohio in the house with Bob. What's up with all this Ohio? I'm going to have to shut this thing down.
It's a place to be. It's the heart of it all.
They're stuck inside, so they've got to connect to something. Like.
Yeah. Region is in Scotland. We've got Australia in the house with Phil. Montana here with Tucker Author. We've got Regilio in Utah. We got Seattle, Washington in the house with Fantasy Grounds College. We've got South Dakota in the house with Ralph. Scott is in Oklahoma. Dayton, Ohio. I'm sorry, is Joshua. We've got TrueMate coming to us from Wales. Davenport, Ohio. Iowa is in the house. I can't talk. And that was Katu. We've got Kurt in Minnesota. So people all over the place. I don't know how, Doug, you can't find people to play with in Ohio. There's like 50 of them. There's 50 of them in the chat.
Toledo's really far from me. Or like Toledo's far, Dayton's not really that close.
Yeah, I mean, it's like that'd be like for you, like Dave. There's people in Virginia that are playing. Oh yeah, Geek and Undies.
Just
There
around college, and we can all play together.
Sean, you're getting blocked and going to timeout.
Yeah,
Beat me to
I was
it.
just reporting it.
We're so proud of you, Sean. You know a word.
Yep, just gonna have to. I'm just clinging to the in-person game, but I think I'm gonna have to just go on digital. But I actually have enjoyed live play. We've been talking a lot about that in our authors chat and our Roll for Mischief chat with Drew. It's just like live play is just different. In streaming games, it's like you're just focused on the game, and you guys just did a video about that too, like having a game in 2 hours and things like that.
It really does condense it. I think part of it is like I wouldn't want to do a 5-hour session sitting on my computer either. Like
Yeah,
that's a long game for on the computer. In person, it's a little bit easier because of all the things that make it less condensed.
mm-hmm.
And
breaks and walking away and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think it changes the dynamic, right? When you do a game online or stream it, you're literally like you're there to do just that specific thing. You're gathering for that thing. Whereas if you're playing an in-person game, you're getting together to game, but it's also a social gathering.
Mm-hmm.
And people are eating together, drinking together, hanging out, talking, and doing the thing, which is also great because that's one of the things that this hobby gives you. Like, what do most people do when they get together? Like, they're going to eat, drink, get high, whatever. Well, we have gaming, instead. Like, we don't have to just be, we don't have to be hanging out at the bars.
I don't have to hide my beer any more than I'm drinking.
Well, I think to be honest, though, part of it is because like my job, I work remote from home, and then doing that. So it's just like that is part of it to me. It's like I need to be with people and interact with them in real life. But it's the world we live in, man.
Well, that's the other thing is,
like, I don't even get to I don't even go to an office to. So it's like,
oh, you poor baby, you don't have to go into.
I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that was the social interaction part.
Yeah, but that's kind of office politics and everything. I think you're in a better place. At least you're amongst friends.
I'm not complaining.
My social interaction is Ted.
And I doubt any of my coworkers or bosses are watching. So when I'm at work, I can get some Nerdarchy work done on the side.
That's when you find out that your cat is actually a robot. And
unless they are working, then I am totally focused on work the whole time, boss.
All the time. Kenyetta, I work from home as well. Voice chat with friends, man. It helps so the walls don't start closing in. Well, I will say that about when I did actually have to go to a day job, my job was always different.
Mm-hmm.
And, so it was, I would work all over the state of New Jersey and sometimes out of it. So that part never got too monotonous. Although I will say, every time going to my job for the first time on that site, was always nerve-wracking and filled me with anxiety because you're are we going to work in the right lane or the left lane? If it's the right lane, it's not too bad. It's a little bit easier to get into, and it's you got traffic whizzing by you at 70, 80 miles an hour, and just trying not to get killed or kill anyone.
Yes, back when I was a reporter, it was different too, because you're never in the office. It's you're just constantly hey, go here and talk to all these strangers and stuff. So that was my dose of that.
That was something I found strange at university when we did the journalism modules, is that so many people just were not willing to go out and talk to people.
Oh, yeah, right? Yeah, same thing in college. You're I hate talking to people. I remember this one guy's I don't like talking to people. I don't like writing or something else. And I was you're in the totally wrong. You're way off base, dude. And it was a senior, too. It's just you went this far in the program?
Yeah.
Maybe he thought something else, or he was just showing up for the wrong classes for a long time. I can make it now. I'm done.
I just know where these classrooms are. What do you want from me?
Your counselors led you far astray, sir.
Well, I find they generally suck anyway.
He's
the interesting thing I found was that journalism seems to, or rather D&D seems to attract journalists. I remember watching the Let the Games Begin documentary from the 2000 or 2001 D&D film, and one of the guys that they kept cutting to loads of times for the interviews was this guy who studied to become a journalist, pretty much so that he didn't need to move somewhere else and break up the game that he had going on. So now he's a professional journalist, but also he gets to keep playing with his mates.
Well, see, now you just get to talk to other nerds instead of going to the city council meeting or story time at the library.
I will say, it's not that uncommon or that odd for someone to do a job, for the thing they don't like. I actually hate driving, and I spent the past decade driving. It just worked out that way. But at the same time, I also didn't go, can I go to school to do this thing I hate? It just worked out that way.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I quite enjoyed university. It was a really good experience.
Oh, yeah.
Just wish I wasn't saddled with the debt afterwards.
Yeah, but they can put that debt in the casket with me because that's probably never getting paid off.
Just hoard it like a dragon hoards treasure, dog. That's all.
Yeah. Unless I win the lotto, then I'll pay it off.
Yeah. What are you gonna do? Yeah, well,
or if we sell enough Chimes of Discordia fantastical mounts.
There you go. Which is now available in the Nerdarchy store. I would actually like to go back to school for writing and and become better at it because my technical writing is not good at all.
No, just got to do it more. I mean,
I don't know. I feel like you still know certain things to get better.
Actually, to be honest, that was one of the things I thought because I went back to school for journalism. It's they don't. You really just learn because you have to do it. You know what I mean? It's just they're not really teaching you techniques per se, in classes. You just read other journalists' articles and things, and then the bulk of it's just go out there and report and write a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. Most of the time, if you contact university professors or lecturers, they will speak to you one-on-one and give you recommendations of what they would tell you to go and read if you're a student there anyway.
Mhm.
They're usually pretty good about that sort of thing. But I'm glad to have met them all, and I still keep in touch with a few of them because it's good to keep in touch.
So my mind went right to maybe I should impersonate a student. And stalk the professors and ask them questions.
Like just pretend. Like
Yeah.
I have this class at like 10:30.
Just wear your military infiltration uniform for getting on the base.
We'll never know. No, I will just dress like a ninja.
I mean, a lot of writing is just like, I mean, as an editor, it's like, yeah, people send me, like really cleaned up, awesome stuff. That's great. But it's like the main thing for a writer is like, just get the point across in a clear voice. And then all the other cleanup stuff is what people like me do.
Well, I guess because
thank you for that.
When I was writing, we didn't have a Doug. My Doug was, hey babe, can you take a look at this and see if it sounds human?
See, that's how I
look how far you've come. Look how far you've come. We have a style guide now, and you got an editor on staff.
Yeah.
Bard's in the basement's asking important questions. Would Doug still hang with Nerdarchy if he won the lotto? He's like, I am so out of here.
No, actually, I answered yes. I would invest in it. There's a lot of things that we brainstorm about when we're just chit-chatting.
The cafe, the gaming cafe, the Nerd.
Yep, I would just do this stuff full time, man.
We could have studio space, all those things. Maybe I should play the lottery too.
Yep.
I just saw a comment, but I didn't see the rest of it.
Yeah. Is there any other announcements? That's something like Ted usually handles. Anything interesting to announce this week that went on, or winners, or your live games schedule, or anything like that?
Well, this past week, if you guys go back into the live chats, we had a lot of great guests. We had Holly Conrad on, which was way cool. We had James Introcaso on. We had a couple of the Guild Adepts on, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty sweet. So
and you got some more coming up, too.
Yes, we do. Next week, we have Lisa Chen coming on. And she's also taking over for Robert Oducci, I believe, over at Adventure League. So that should be pretty... Oh, you didn't know that?
I knew she had something to do with Adventure. I didn't know she was taking over for Robert.
Yeah, I seen some chatter about it on Facebook last week, I believe, and possibly some tweeting. So we'll be able to get the scoop on that. That's pretty cool. And you know what I saw in one of the Facebook groups the other day? Someone had dropped a link to an article for Starfinder for what was it, Grimmer Space. Announcing that Sean Astin and Wesley Snipes is going to be writing for that.
Yes, I saw that.
I know, and I was able to say, but if you guys just followed Nerdarchy, you would have known that months ago.
There was an interesting video that I remember was from yesterday or the day before. You guys were talking about gelatinous cubes and like extracting parts of gelatinous cubes and things. I just thought that was a really interesting idea for harvesting parts of monsters that don't seem easy to get parts from. You could take on a goblin and maybe take a goblin tooth or something like that. But yeah, gelatinous cube isn't something that you can really catch.
I just kept picturing somebody with a melon baller.
Doug had the best comment on there. One of the best comments I saw on there, because literally when we were talking about extracting it, and that's kind of what I envisioned as well. The melon ball.
It's like a little parfait of gelatinous cubes. Didn't you Ted with the big syringe was a good idea. Isn't there a cannon drink in Gryffindor that's like a gelatinous cube shot?
There is, but it kind of got spawned during one of the games. I don't know if it was a Scarlet Sisterhood game, and somebody said it in the chat, so I just throw it in the...
Yeah, it was a Scarlet Sisterhood game from a while back.
Yeah, and I don't even remember what it was. I still want to do the Dwarven Booze Ooze Tavern.
Booze Oozes have shown up several times, yeah.
Yeah, where all the tables are kind of like concave and they're stone, so the boozers so they can't get out, and they're just little ones, and you just like play with them and get drunk
Just like bat it around a little bit.
like a cat. Yeah.
There's a creature in Tome of Beasts called an Alehouse Drake, which I believe does a similar thing. Like if you touch it, it gives you like a intoxicating aura or something like that. It's basically secreting alcohol.
Yeah, I definitely saw those, and I think when we saw them, the boozers.
So let's see. Somebody, Help, I've Been Kidnapped says, doesn't Nerdarchy have a magazine? We don't have a magazine, but we have a very robust website.
We have a website. We have a newsletter, which the link to the newsletter is pretty much in everything we do. So you guys can check that out. And basically, so once a week, we just send out, kind of like GM tips, player tips. If there's something going on with us, we're going to let you know there. That also the newsletter will tell you how to actually game with us to get into our random fan games. So that's one of the ways of doing that as well.
There's a question from Slats. I'm running a maritime heavy campaign starting in after the new year. Any advice or pointers for that kind of setting?
I think we got like 2 or 3 videos on that very subject.
I've got some advice actually that came up today. Is environmental stuff is your best friend. High winds are amazing. They ground flying things. Things like extreme cold and extreme heat from certain currents and winds and things, imposing exhaustion after a while. So the players really need to start thinking about not only resource management, but also where they're going. They need to really think about that sort of thing. It's less just marching forth and slaying enemies, and it's really thinking about how they are existing in this world. So that's something to think about.
Yeah, and I don't know about maritime specifically, but like my home game is a Spelljammer-ish game, and so it's similar. And yeah, it's a huge chance to like play up the exploration parts, play with all those other little fiddly, kludgy mechanics, and the DM's got like exhaustion and resource management, like I say. And one thing, it's like these journeys take so long. And this is something I actually learned from watching Nerdarchy videos too. It's like, get the players involved. If a voyage takes like 2 weeks, ask them like, well, tell me something that you think happened on the way, and you can kind of like collaborate more. And it's like, if something's really interesting, then like you can, kind of zoom in on that and play that part out if you want.
That's a good way.
It really lets you do the exploration a lot.
That's a good way to keep players engaged too. It's hard to do that, I think, in some cases, especially if you've got players. And I know I've kind of gone ad nauseum about that, but the hack and slash type players, kind of get them like out of that element of Monster of the Week stuff to get them engaged in the story and try to like create this world it's their world as much as it is your world as a DM.
Absolutely.
So one of the things too is to remember is you treat the vessel that they're on, whatever it is, as almost like a character itself.
Right.
Oh yeah.
I forgot. You're right, but it's bioorganic, isn't it?
And if you look at like the old Sinbad movies, like I feel like you got that feel a lot. And then the other thing is like, it's a ship, it needs a crew. So you have like this supporting cast kind of built in. And
too.
What's that?
Had that the movie Farscape with their ship.
Yes.
Oh yeah, man. Players, at least mine, they love their ship and the crew. It's like they spend more time like, we need to get furniture for the new crew, for this cabin system.
Especially in MMOs. It's bad in MMOs. Like all you want to do is decorate your house. It's sad.
Yeah. I could have like a whole adventure prepared, and they'll spend like hours just like, all right, we need to get like a new bed, and we got to buy food and hire crew. They like making away teams, and it's like, okay, well, I guess I'll save that adventure for next time.
There's a group of us from Fantasy Grounds that also plays Elder Scrolls Online. Fate, she's great, and Nakara, she's awesome. And I couldn't log in because I was having problems downloading the patch, and they went through the whole game with me as they checked houses to make sure it had 3 bedrooms so that eventually we could all live there together. It's pretty nice. It's pretty great. So I get it. Yeah, you really care about where you're going to live that you'll never show up in again. You just
It
need
may
to
be
have it.
apocryphal, and I'm not sure exactly where I remember reading this, but wasn't the armor class system from D&D when it was first created, wasn't that a holdover from a naval combat system that Dave Arneson was working on?
I have no idea.
I mean, I know they played chainmail, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. Yeah.
Are you talking
I just remember.
about the THACO system too, or are you talking about, because there's been so many variations?
I believe it's the THACO and the armor class system to go with it. That was all taken from like a naval combat thing.
Wow.
Okay. It was years ago that I remember reading this somewhere, but not sure if it's true or not. I've not seen anything to support
Go
it.
ahead, just, you know.
You'll have to do an article on that and get back to us and let us know.
Give me 2 weeks.
2 weeks, 4,000 words later.
Yeah. I've got like 5 articles part of the way done, including more of these flavor shots. Because
I love those.
Yes. One of them proved quite popular, so I'm doing the rest of them in the same vein as those. Doing the fighter next, because that's the one I'm very excited about.
And if anybody watching live or watching later has any nerdy passions they like to and they like to write, hit us up through the website. I always love working with new writers.
Oh, there's another question. Zerift. How would handle a long journey to location without spending too much from town to town? P.S. They have to be level 5 at the end of the journey.
That's like a matter of you make it take as long as you want it to. And, I always just narrate most of it and just kind of like zoom in and out, get their standard procedure, operating procedures. So you know how they set up camp and stuff like that, just in case you want to throw something at them and you don't have to ask them how they're going to do it this time. So they know, but you just kind of know ahead of time. They have a set watch order they use, a set marching order they use. And then you can just take that information and decide if you're going to do an encounter or side adventure, anything like that. You can just pull it out as you go.
Whenever I think about travel in the game and stuff, I always, because I like to take a lot of walks like through the park. We have a huge park system over here, and it always makes me think of the games when you're just like, okay, well, you walk for 8 hours and you're there. It's like that would be a long walk.
Oh my god!
Like armor on and everything, so it's like a lot can happen. So just think about all the things that can happen in the wilderness. It's like creatures, obstacles for them to overcome, like part of impassable things. It's like those can turn into whole sessions where it's like you got to go, like just you could just say like, yeah, you go down the crevasse and come up the other side. It's like that could be really hard, especially in a fantasy world. It's like there might be like a portal to the abyss in the bottom of the crevasse. That's just,
or goblins or kobolds or something.
or undead or whatever.
So Tucker Author asked about, we need a Nerdarchy calendar. So what does that look like to you guys? Because we had actually kicked around taking like the best of our Goblin web comic that we put out the very first year that we did Nerdarchy and turning that into a calendar.
Yeah, we were literally just talking about that yesterday.
Yeah, it's something that it's come up before and we've talked about, but there's no point in doing it unless you guys are actually interested. So
this wouldn't be like me and Doug and the rest of us all posing nude with plushy dice in strategic positions. No.
All cheesecake style pictures with the Nerdarchy.
I mean, if that's what you want to do, Drew, it's all up to you.
I'll email you the pictures. It's fine. Yeah, a Nerdarchy calendar, I suppose. Yeah, you could, put one together, put it up in the store. Be interesting.
Yeah, it's something we've kicked around. Also the beard calendar. There's been requests for the beard.
It's just the beard.
Yeah.
I can tie my hair around and do it. Maybe. I can have one too.
Yeah.
It's the ongoing joke is the uniform is the glasses and the beard.
Oh, you're right. I just realized that Nate had.
Well, that's not very inclusive. It's at least glasses.
Oh, we do all glasses, don't we? Oh wow! There you go.
Whenever you look around any of our gaming tables, it's always been the case. You look around, and, facial hair and glasses.
Yep. Or some combination of them. It's like, well, you got Professor Bill. He's got a big old beard, but no glasses.
You know, hey Doug, did we do, because Regen is asking a question about the 5e options. Did we do a thing on that on the website? Did we do a write-up?
I think we looked at the alternate rules for multi-classing. I didn't. What alternate rules for multi-classing?
Yeah, I've not seen those.
There's a book called 5e options that might be put out by Total Party Kill Games.
No, that doesn't sound familiar.
And if it was done a while ago. Or we made a video on it, but we kind of just did like a flip through. A lot of that book was like, hey, how do you make your 5e game more like 3e?
Yeah, there's a lot of products like that out there. What are the alternate? I don't understand. Like, what are...
I don't know what the rules are. It's in that book. Yeah.
Yes.
But I'm aware of the book. Yes, TP Games. So yeah, I don't
take a look at it though. I mean, if people are interested in getting the Nerdarchy take on it, then we'll check it out.
Well, that's true too. You got anything pretty much on Drive-Through RPG or the DMs Guild. We can get access to and review on the website if there's writers that are interested in doing that.
Or if Regen wants to write about it himself or herself.
Well, yeah, that's true. You can come on the Nerdarchy website and give your take on it.
Yeah, man.
They're saying that the rules are more like 2E multiclassing. So my memory of 2E multiclassing is that
you went up in both classes at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then you also have to select it at the start. Like you had to choose. Like I am an elf fighter mage, and that is me from day one.
And they went up at different rates and stuff. Like you had to split your XP, and it's like you might
for every 3, like something like that, or 3 or 4.
Yeah, you got half the hit points from each, and
yeah, and humans couldn't
like using Stacko back in the day.
Take a dual class though.
Yes,
which was like today's multi-classing, where you could just like stop doing the one and take the other class.
Yes, but you lost the abilities of the first one until you got to the same level, didn't you?
Yes, it was very complicated.
Man, thank goodness for 5th edition. I loved every edition of D&D, but I like 5e the best. Like whatever was the current one is the one I like the best.
There's no way you loved every edition.
Oh yeah, 4th, Beck Me, 2nd, 1st edition Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. All that.
You said 1, 2, and then you kind of skipped. And then you said 5.
Oh no, I mean because I played them all as they came out, so it's like whatever was new, that was the one I liked the most because it just.
I did the same. Although I want to say we had the shortest stint in 4E because at the same time we had discovered Mutants and Masterminds.
Yeah, I want to go back and play some 4E. Every time I see your books back there, I'm like,
nah, I stopped
there to tempt you.
I stopped at 3.
You still play 3rd edition?
No, I stopped, and then 4th was just I couldn't even handle that. So when 5th came out, I was like, oh, thank God, something I recognize. I never got into Pathfinder. I wanted to. I just use a lot of their maps for my games. I love their maps.
Their arts, their book layouts, it's so good.
Yeah, 4th edition gets a bad rap, but it's amazing when you start looking at the pure mechanics of it. 4th edition and 5th edition, there are several similarities.
I'm sure that was it was so mechanical driven. I mean, it was perfect for people who loved the rules and loved being sticklers for stuff. And that's just, and like I said, that's just not the kind of DM that I am. So those kind of rules were just not for me. And they were so specific.
I went from playing in a 3.5 group where there was 12 players and a DM. And then that group we played for a couple of years and it kind of fizzled out. So I remember when 4th edition came out, we played like, this moves so fast. Oh my God. Cause it's like, we'd play, and like the whole night, like 6 hours would be like a combat, you know what I mean? So like 4th edition was like, this is just really fast. I liked that. And obviously like the encounter powers and having spells all the time was cool.
Each editions have added their own things and so many of them has found their way into 5th. I love all the rules from 4th edition that they've hidden in 5th edition. Like you were saying, Drew, that people don't realize, but they learn some things, like don't talk about the squares, whatever you do. We cannot mention squares, but a lot of the powers work the same way as they did in 4E. They just change. They changed the vernacular and the language they're using as well.
Yeah, it was the subject of my dissertation really for university was all about paratexts and how that informs the way people form an idea about something. The fact that it was presented in blocks and referenced keywords that made it feel very technical, and could be used very easily by computer systems, which made people think it's like a computer game. Despite the fact that you can extract that and extrapolate it as the wording has done for 5th edition. So essentially they've gone in and as an editor, like moved things around, made it seem much more approachable as a language. And it feels very different. I think we can all generally agree that 4th edition and 5th edition feel very different. And that's in the power of editing, really.
I liked that it was like more proactive than reactive. Like all your attacks were like, I'm attacking their reflex or whatever. You know, like I don't think like it didn't really even. I don't even think they had saving throws in 4th edition.
They did.
Like everything was like defenses. I'm doing something to you.
Like on a lot of levels, that stuff makes more sense for streamlining the game and playing faster.
Yeah.
But
and in a sense, oh, sorry, go ahead.
The problem is Dungeons and Dragons has the worst problem of any RPG, and that is there's just certain things people expect from the game, even if they're not good, they have to be there.
Yeah,
saving because it won't be D&D anymore.
Yeah. There's another question about a Fey Corgi.
A Fey Corgi?
Yeah, Meat Moo says, what do you guys think of the Fey Corgi race that was like an April Fool's joke? I've just quickly Googled it because I didn't hear about this, and then there are some very funny pictures about a Fey Corgi.
Yeah, I missed that one.
Yeah.
Well, anytime images are involved in Google, you have to watch it.
True. I'm not sharing my screen.
Well, we are actually past the hour mark already.
Oh.
And I have an appointment to run to, or actually a family get together to run to as well. But I want to thank you guys for coming on and hanging out with me. The hour is always too short. I will have to do it again at some point.
Absolutely.
And, I definitely want to try and get more dynamic hangouts going on during some of the live chats during the week where we have more than one guest at a time. Some of the guests have shown some interest in that. But thanks, guys. Thanks, everyone, for hanging out with us. So until next time, stay nerdy.
Stay nerdy.
Stay nerdy.